At the end of 2024, I sat down and I wrote out some goals that I'd like to achieve in 2025. Today's episode of Let's Talk Confidence, I'm going to be going through those goals, giving my thoughts on them, and seeing how I did. Welcome to Let's Talk Confidence, the first and last place you need to go to build long, lasting confidence. I'm your host and coach, Josh Sutton. Please do give us a like and comment and review and all that good stuff. Helps us to reach more people, and it helps the mission I have to see more people live authentic, confident lives. All right, let's dive in. I'm a big believer in setting goals. And lots of us set goals, but we never really ask too much about what each other's goals are. And as somebody who really spends their time, their living, by helping people achieve their goals, it'll be quite interesting to dive into what my goals for last year were. So I went away with my wife towards the end of 2024. Beautiful cabin in the middle of Wales, middle and nowhere. Away from the children. I highly recommend it. Not abandoning your children, just like getting away. And I had time to write out my goals. What did I want 2025 to look like? So today, going to be going through that. I haven't got any notes. I've got a few notes on here just for the statistics. And I've put it to an iPad for those that are just using the audio. And let's see how I did. Where did I do well? Where did I fall short? And just giving my general thoughts and reflections on them for the year. So you can see what it looks like for someone to set goals at the start of the year, follow them throughout the whole year, and see where we ended up. All right, let's dive in. So the first thing I did is I set 7 different buckets for life, for these goals that I wanted to achieve. What were the areas of life that were really important to me and that I wanted to see some improvement in? Those 7 were, let's see if I can remember them: physical health and fitness, family, finances, business, personal development and learning, relationship, and house. Those are my 7. They were just important to me. You might go, really? You had that one? They were just important to me at the time. And in each of those areas, I set a number of goals. So I'll be going through each of those areas, letting you know my goals and seeing how I did. So I'm going to be using my tablet here just to read off some of the goals, because I won't remember all of them how I did. So the first one was to run 6 different parkrun locations. So there's hundreds and hundreds, 900 parkruns across the country. Parkrun has become a huge part of my life. I can't imagine doing a Saturday morning without them now. I'll come on to how many I did for the year in a moment. But my goal this year was to visit 6 new ones that I'd never run at before. I love visiting new parkruns, seeing how they're doing it. Always a great atmosphere. Always people taking it very seriously and very competitive. Always people walking and the range in between. So fantastic place for all abilities and however you want to do it. If you want to push a kid around in a buggy, if you want to take a dog, or if you're going for real high flying time. So this year I did 10 different locations, which brings me to a total of 21. My goal next year is for 25. You can get a special t-shirt. So I'm at 21, 10 for this year, which is good. I really wanted to do 40 parkruns this year. So 2 years ago I did 40. Last year I did 45. So this year I went for 40 again. In my mind I wanted to do 46. That was the goal. I wanted one better than last year. But obviously there's only 52 in the year, unless you do bonus ones on Christmas and New Year's Day. Let's not go there. So there's not that many more opportunities to do them. I set 40 and 46 in my head. The first 2 weeks of the year, it was cancelled within 50 miles of me. So we were off to a bad start. I didn't do my first one until mid-January this year, so I assumed that target was long gone. I did manage to do 47 this year, which I'm really, really pleased with. I missed 2 for weather. I think another one was cancelled all around me because of weather. My son had a football tournament that was early on a Saturday, and I think I went to 1 or 2 football matches, Leeds matches, so I had to leave early in the morning to get there. So didn't really miss very many at all. So really, really pleased with that. Really, the big one for me, my physical fitness this year, was to run 3 half marathons. I come from a sprinting background. 100 and 200 meters were my main events when I was a wee lad. I met my wife through athletics. She also did sprinting. So 5K for me is a bit of a joke. I'm not a long distance runner at all. I barely run 5K, just about do it. So 3 half marathons in a year was a bit of a challenge. I did them. I've had a pretty poor year for injuries, actually. I quit football earlier in the year, in February, and I thought that would really help with my injuries, but I've had one of the worst year for injuries that I can remember, which is very, very frustrating. So I wanted a sub 1 hour 45-minute half marathon. I missed it by 26 seconds. The final one I did, I missed it by 26 seconds. But again, with the injuries I had, I picked up a calf injury in May and just never really recovered. Still working on it now. So I've got to know my physio very well. So not a bad year fitness-wise, but yeah, just missed some of the targets there. Next area, house. I now work a lot from home, so I'm in the home a lot more. Little simple touches I want to do. I want to put some writing in a corridor with our family name, which I did. I want to sort my office out, which is looking all right. It's looking okay. It's a nice place to work now, which I'm very grateful for. And some other little bits around the house as well. I didn't repaint my fence panels. They're being replaced next year. And didn't do some of the little bits of tidy up the garden. We're going to do a bit of a landscaping job next year. So some of those I didn't do, but it's an example of setting a goal and actually when you come to it saying, it'd be silly for me to do this just for the sake of it if it's going to be undone in future years. So yeah, very happy. It's not that we've got this massive, beautiful home. It's about, does this feel like home? And I feel very blessed to be living in a fairly good-sized house. We bought it. It was an absolute train wreck. We renovated it. It can hold big parties. But I tell you, we're not that much happier in this house than we were, my wife and I, in our previous house, which was half the size. It is, does your house feel like home? You can live in a mansion and it feel like a house. You can live somewhere tiny and it feel like home. So I'm pleased this year with the things we've been able to do because it feels more like home than ever. So not too bad on the house front. Next, relationships. And you might say, well, okay, what do you mean? This was really partly with family, but partly with friends as well and experiences. So not too bad on that front. We've got, I wanted to have 5 sets of different people around for tea, hosting it in the evening. Only managed 3. And I'm very, very disappointed with myself with that one. Very disappointed. I've got 3 young children. My wife and I are exceptionally busy, but that really does feel like excuses. So that's something big I'm going to be working on next year because I think that could easily be something that we improve. Went to 3 Leeds games with my dad and my son. Very, very special times. Don't know how many more that'll be able to happen because of the way we do things. Won't go into that, but yeah, we won't be able to go to too many more games. So really special times. Managed 5 family games nights, like wider family games nights. Was really determined to have more of those this year. And family film nights, wanted 3 of those, and we managed 7 this year. And these sound like really silly little goals. Why would somebody who teaches people how to set and achieve goals bother with writing down how many like picnics you go on or how many films you watch? Because what gets measured gets improved, and what gets tracked and reflected on improves exponentially. So although it sounds silly, write down the things, record them, track them that you want to see improved, and I promise you those things you'll see more of, or it will get better, even if they sound silly to other people. If it's important to you, write them down. Next, family. With family, really wanted to have more days out this year. Again, the children were quite young, so it's quite hard to balance their ages, but last year, or the 2024, didn't go out anywhere and have these family adventures anywhere near as I wanted to. So again, sounds very silly, but I wanted to spend this year, 2025, £250 on family days out. Now, to be honest, these days, that's like 1 day out, but that was the goal. We went to 7 different places in the end. We went to, I've got the list here, a couple of farms, safari park, 2 zoos, adventure forest, another adventure place, rock climbing, Christmas experience. Came to £666.75. Some of those were more expensive, some of them were a bit cheaper. So again, funny thing to track, but we probably went out twice as a family this time last year because we kept saying we're busy or it's too expensive and we went for it, and I don't regret a single moment of it or a single penny of it. So again, what gets tracked gets improved. I became one of the coaches for my son's football team, which is a mixed blessings, but blessing overall. They've won a couple of tournaments, so that was really, really good to be a part of as well. Okay, next, learning and growth. My goal this year was to read 15 books. I started the year off fantastically. I basically cut out TV in the evening. We were watching TV for maybe an hour in the evening, my wife and I. I substituted that for reading. So I was reading for about an hour and a half a day after that, which was quite a lot for me. And worked my way through some fantastic books. Slowed up towards the end of the year with some books I maybe didn't enjoy, needed to read them for some courses I was doing, but managed 19 books in the end. So my top 3 for the year were Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, The Chimp Paradox by Steve Peters, and Cues by Vanessa Van Edwards. Those are my top 3 books for 2025. Some other really good ones in there, some stinkers in there as well. It's just what it is. Linked to this, I wanted one of my big 2025 goals to be to write a book. And this is a great example of how sometimes you set goals and it's okay to not achieve them. So I've wanted to write a book for a little while now, but the time investment of writing a book is significant. If I tried to write my own book, it would have taken away from so much of the other things that I really wanted to do. So sometimes you can't do all the goals and you realize in the moment, this isn't a goal that's actually going to be good for me. It'll take away from too many areas. So I know there's a time where I will write a book, but it wasn't in 2025. One of the things I did do though, is build my own computer. I set 3 goals when I was a teenager, which were to learn to ride a motorbike, learn to play the saxophone, and build my own computer. I don't know why I chose those. I just wanted to. And they were outstanding for years and years and years and years and years. I learned to play the saxophone during lockdown. I learned to ride a motorbike at the end of 2024, although I haven't touched one since. Another story. And this year, I built my own computer. 2025, I built my own computer. It's great. It's total overkill for what I need. It's just one of those things that I set myself to do, and I've done. So it was good. It was good. Next, business. So big year for me. This was a year I actually transitioned out of part-time teaching and part-time coaching into full-time coaching. So big year for me. And if you're a teacher and looking to do something similar, looking at career change, then do reach out. An area that I'm happy to help with. So quite a transition year for me. Some of the goals I set, I wanted to run 4 online public workshops this year, which I managed 5, so I was pleased with that. I wanted to run 3 in-person events, didn't do any. Something I'm really focusing on for 2026. Didn't feel right to do it in 2025. Wasn't really a clear focus as to why. Something I'll be working on next year, so look out for invites for that. Be good. I wanted to do 3 what I call public exposure events, so kind of getting myself out and about. I was on a radio station. I did 3 podcasts. I was a guest speaker for 2 individual networking events. So they all went really, really well. It was great to do 6. And again, if you would like to speak to me about me coming and speaking at your event, then please do get in contact. Happy to have a conversation. You always have these turnover goals for business. I wanted my first 5k month, 7.5k month, 10k month. Managed the 5 and the 7.5. Didn't quite reach 10. It's goal for 2026. So get in there with that one. I wanted to qualify as a coach. Not many coaches do that, but I wanted an internationally recognized qualification, which I've now got. And I'm currently doing a master's level qualification in executive coaching. So qualified life coach, looking to executive coaching as well. So going well on the certification side of things, which is good. I wanted to have 1,000 coaching conversations this year, and I managed 1,635. Probably a bit too many, if I'm honest. But from a gaining experience, I'd already done a lot of coaching, but this year really kind of up to the numbers. So that was great. Many, many conversations now that people would find difficult that I've got so much experience with, and that's really starting to show. I'm a big believer in what you practice at and reflect on, you get better at. So it's great to really gain thousands of hours, or, well, yeah, at least 1,000 hours of coaching experience. It was really good. I've worked with a couple of corporations this year, so I'm now helping a sales team and coaching their sales team. And I did an in-person day, my first in-person day earlier in the year, with a tech company, helping their team with team collaboration, building confidence and understanding themselves more through disc profiling. So that was really, really good to get my first one under my belt, and I've done more since. So great to do that. I started this podcast. So this is episode... We're up to about 20 episodes now. I'm going to be doing a couple of recordings, so I'll be up to episode 20. The average span of episodes in a podcast is apparently 7, so very happy with that. Who knows, it's going to be a long-term thing, but I'm enjoying the ride. I love speaking about all things confidence, so yeah, I hope you're getting a lot from it too. I've certainly enjoyed it and will be carrying on for the foreseeable. Finances. Very simple on this one. I don't create loads of finance goals outside the business. I just wanted 3 months of expenses saved, which I've now done, and wanted to start my stocks and shares ISA portfolio up and running with £10,000. That was one of my goals for this year. Managed to do that with a bit extra as well. So happy with that as well. So that's my year in some numbers. They don't tell the full story, obviously, but they give a snapshot. And some key takeaways when I was going through them is make sure you set goals that you care about. If you set goals that are just other people's goals that you think you should be taking on as your own, you're going to struggle to achieve them. So make sure you care about them. Secondly, make sure you've got a plan. Break them down. A lot of those goals I mentioned there, it took meticulous planning and keeping going with consistent tiny little steps, often every single day, just to get there. That's okay. That's how these big goals work. All of those goals that I've just reeled off, they didn't happen overnight. It was little bits of progress every single day, every single week that helped me get there. So make sure you've got a plan for achieving them as well. That is all for today's episode. I hope it gave you a little insight into the kind of things that I'm working on. Next episode, I'm going to be sharing what my goals are for 2026. So do check in for that one just to see what I'm going to be working on next year. Making it public, make myself accountable. That's all good as well. So if you'd like to have a conversation about what it'd be like to work with me as your coach, then do head to joshsuttoncoaching.com. Apart from that, see you next time. Let's talk confidence.